coming in. We need to keep an eye on that as well, because the sixth round of India-US trade talks, which was set for later this month, now looks likely to be pushed back. A US negotiating team was to arrive on August 25th, but the schedule is slipping with secondary tariffs tied to how geopolitics plays out by the 27th. We'll talk more about this, and Matt Orton, Chief Market Strategist, Raymond James Investment Management, is joining with us. Matt, thank you so much for giving your time to ET Now. It's a pleasure talking to you this morning. There's a lot happening on the global front as we speak. How do you read the current sentiments coming in from across the global markets?
Yeah, there's quite a lot going on for investors to digest, and I think the main conclusion I can take over all of the economic data we've had over the past week, the summit between Trump and Putin, the continued discussions that are going to evolve, is that we're getting closer to, hopefully, a little bit more certainty in the market, which is something markets always like. I think there's a narrowing of what this deal could potentially look like. We know there's a lot of accelerated timelines that are being put into this. So I think the sooner we can get clarity with respect to where this might end, the faster markets can start to factor in what the future might look like. So I'm optimistic about really just getting clarity going forward. And I think that should be marginally positive to the direction of markets, which already continue to move higher. You know, there's been great news coming from India after the double Diwali and GST changes. The macroeconomic data in the U.S. really didn't send any negative signals. It didn't derail any of the positive momentum that we have. Earnings season is wrapping up on a very positive note. So there's definitely some good tailwinds that can be furthered in the market if we get a positive resolution to these geopolitical risks.
Right, Matt. Hi, morning. And that's exactly where the uncertainty is, right? Like you just mentioned, the faster we know, the faster we have certainty, the sooner markets can start penciling this in. But I want to ask you about the Trump-Putin meeting in particular. It seems like there has been no solid outcome from that meeting, although they're trying to paint a positive picture over there. Where do you think the talks today with Zelensky could head? How could that impact the tariff scenario that US has with Russia, because India too is going to get affected on the back of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I would just love to know what exactly the plan is that we're talking about. I think getting any sort of clarity with respect to what was discussed will be very, very helpful. I think the fact that European leaders have been included in this, as well as Zelensky with the meeting at the White House, I think it shows that there's a willingness to come together and find a mutually agreeable resolution where maybe everyone isn't entirely 100% happy with the result, but it's a result that everyone can live with going forward. I think that would be the most realistic outcome to come from this. But when I look at what happens, regardless of what the outcome actually is, an area of the market that I've been really looking at and really leaning into this year has been defense. Aerospace and defense has been a strong outperformer, particularly in Europe and the U.S. And I think those tailwinds can continue because whether or not there's a peace agreement between Ukraine and Russia, I think everyone's going to remain on their toes. There's going to be more spending required from Europe going forward. So that's beneficial. And I think it also sends a signal to the rest of the world, too, that more investments are going to need to be made on the part of independent nations with respect to their security guarantees going forward. So I think there's a lot of tailwinds to that part of the market in particular, regardless of what the outcome actually is.
Indeed, lots of wait and watch and a lot of question marks as well. But Matt, good speaking with you as always.